basically, we go to the tournament, and I'm stressing out as always because I wanna win, right? And basically, I go to the thing to look for our matches because I'm always like, yeah, I gotta see where when I'm going, and I go up there, or at least if I made it to the lower bracket, and I do, or I thought I would, and I look on the fucking the board that shows the names, and there are two Jonathans, but they're spelled like they're not me, obviously, because one is Johnston N, and the other one is Jonathan Ortega, and I'm just like, well, okay, maybe they accidentally spelled my name correctly, like it should, like the Christian Bible version, and then they just made it like, I don't know, maybe they like mixed me up with some Mexican guy. I was like, alright, whatever, no big deal. First match goes, and they call up, oh no, I go to the guy at the desk, and I'm like, you know what, hey, so there's this, like, is there a problem? Like, I weighed in, and I was maybe 148, but I'm going for like 152s, but there's only Johnston N and Jonathan Ortega, and I'm pretty sure that there's not a, like, Jonathan, or like a Johnston N, because I checked. And he was like, oh, okay, well, we got you. We'll fix that, alright? I got you. Just write your name down and we'll get it sorted. And I do, and then I leave. And sure enough, when 30 minutes passed and it's time for me to go up, on the loudspeaker, all I hear is, Johnston N, please report, please check in at the desk. And I'm just like, I'm not Johnston N. Surely there's another man named Johnston N. And then they keep, so I just don't go up. I just don't go up at all. And then, like, but Coach T is there, and he's like, well, you idiot, maybe you should check in. And maybe the third time they called, they're like, last call, Johnston N. And I'm like, alright, fine, I'll go up. And I go up, and the dude's like, oh, hey, are you Johnston N? And I'm just like, my guy, we just went over this. I'm Jonathan. And he just looks at me dead in the face. He's like, oh, okay, just go wrestle. And hands me the clipboard, and it still says John. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And I go to the table, and it gets even fucking worse because the people at the table they're like, who's next up? We have this random guy and Johnston, and they look up at an Asian guy, and then look up at a completely black and Filipino guy, and they're just like, they look at me and they're like, are you Johnston? And then I say, they spelled my name wrong, and so like, oh, so this isn't you. And I'm like, well, no, it's me. It's just not spelled. So they're like, oh, you Johnston? And then the guy behind, like, there's three people at the desk. But the guy that's talking to me is stone-faced. There's like, I swear he's serious. But then the guy behind him is like on the verge of fucking tears of laughter because he's looking at me, a completely very minority person. Like, Johnston is the whitest fucking name possible. And he's fucking laughing. And they just give me they're just like, oh, alright, Johnston, go wrestle. And I'm just like, fuck it. And I wrestle. And then I win. And they're like, oh, alright, is this you? And I'm like, I look at the name, and it's fucking Johnston. I'm just like,
Johnny's
and I
identity
just take the L.
crisis and his social awkwardness kicks in and he's at the table.
Yes, and yet... Okay, basically, yeah, no, I suck it up, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll take it. And I take it to the guy, and he's like, good, he's like, oh, good work, Johnston. I was... And then the second round comes, but no, I check up with the guy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you'll get my name fixed, right? And he's like, yeah, sure, I got you, man. And yeah, and there's three guys there, and they all look at me, and they give a thumbs up. I'm like, okay, yeah, they'll fix my name. Next round comes again. Johnston N, please check in. And I'm just, oh my fucking god. And I walk up, and I'm like, dude, you know what? Alright, they're like, yeah, Johnston, are you here? Are you Johnston? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Johnston. Yeah, I'm Johnston. And I just take the fucking clipboard, and the fucking, like, the guy about to wrestle just looked, oh my god, it was the German kid! It was the fucking German kid! And he just looks at me, and he just, I'm pretty sure he doesn't understand a single word that's being spoken, but he just looks at me, and with, like, the face of a man that's had his entire family murdered back home, and he's just like, haha, Johnston, and then he walks to the mat, and then proceeds to rape me, and then oh my god, at least I don't get the fucking, the disappointment of, like, winning, and then them saying, oh yeah, this you, Johnston, is this you? Bruh, oh my fucking god, and then from then on, Adonis hears this, and then immediately he's like, oh, what's up, Johnston? And then the entire team, he got the entire squad laughing and shit, and then everyone starts calling me Johnston. And then I'm just like, you know what? This is my alter ego. I'm just gonna be Johnston from now on.
I literally just realized something. That tournament
What?
used flow grappling, which means that they entered Johnston M as a wrestler. Or they just fucked it up somehow. They fucked it up that bad.
My god.
Or they entered him as a wrestler. Like, those are the two chances.
Oh my.
And I would just love if we could find fucking Johnston M as a profile.
Oh,
dude,
bro,
imagine
that's
just
your
like
profile.
Dude, okay, imagine just like they go through the records, right? And they're going through Lincoln, and they're like, huh, that's weird. They had this guy named Johonoton on their team, but one day this guy named Johnston showed up and he wrestled, got second place, and then he just never showed back up for another tournament.
What's going on? What's going on with all the 152s?
Oh god, man, fucking
Johnston,
152's a weird place.
There's a guy named Sam, there's a guy named Johnston, and a guy named
Johnston N. I fucking N.
Oh,
how do
N?
you? What the fuck? Yes, N.
Dude, they fucked up your name twice.
Dude, they fucked up the first name, like on Johns. How do you go from Johnninan to Johnston? And maybe that's reasonable somewhat. Like, I have a fucked up name, I know that. But then Malvo. How do you M? How does M go to N? They fucked it up
Johnston
twice.
Malvo.
Your card?
What?
Do you have to write a card with like your name in it?
No. It was from the roster that coach gives to them.
Oh,
Or
so
it's printed. It's fucking printed. Like, there's no fucking way they could have fucked that up. It's fucking printed in Arial font.
So
like, what?
So again, there's two things. Either they called coach, and then heard him say Johonoton, and then we're like, oh, Johnston. and when they heard Malvo, they're like, oh, Malvo. Like, or they just like really fucked up the spelling on the Google Docs.
The dude that typed it, and then Google's like, Johonoton? What the fuck is Johonoton? And then they just auto-corrected it, like, Johnson, that sounds about right. They're like, Malvo? Who the fuck? What kind of French slave name is that? It's fucking, what? And they just
You know what makes a lot more sense?
N. What?
You know what makes a lot more sense than Malvo? Let's go with Malvo. I think that...
Malvo. They just said
Much
Nathan.
better.
They're like, let's name him Johnston Nathan. You know, fuck it. Who cares? We'll give him 2 first names. Fuck me backwards, dude. Holy shit. Oh my god, I can never escape having like a bad name. I remember in like oh my god, whenever I go into like my athletic records for like cross country and track, they still spell it. I think it's they say Johonoton. They have that completely right. But my last name is missing like 6 letters from the end of it. It's just Malvo, but without the X, the U, the A, or like it's just E. You could legitimately just say Malve, and it would be correct. And it's like there's 2 of me. Like, and they did that half of the year. At some point they were like, huh, that's strange. We got this guy's name wrong the whole time. Maybe we should spell it correctly now. like the fastest motherfucker. Like my fastest times were were just a completely different person, and for the entire time I was like, oh, that's really weird. Like, why my name?
Multiple
Do you think-
identities.
You think when Johnny, if he goes for like a job interview, they'll be like trying to look through all of his records, and they're like, "You haven't actually done that much now that we're looking."
that
Jesus,
was
when I
so
apply to
funny,
colleges, they double check like my times and stuff for like track and all that, or even wrestling. They're just
They're
like,
there's nothing on
huh.
your history.
there's nothing
There's
here,
no
you know.
proof.
I don't.
There's only like 2 tournaments, that's it.
That,
what a
or they're like, "We
loser.
would like to formally accept Johnston N to our university."
I swear to God, if I went in for a job interview and the fucker looks like the old ass Republican looks me dead in the eyes and he says, "Oh hey, Johonoton?
Oh my God.
Johonoton?
Oh.
What's up, Johonoton?" Because he tries to make it an African name. But he'll be like, "What's up, Johonoton?" And I'm like,
At one point he just
Or he'll
wanted to
say,
be
like-
some nigger.
"Oh my God, no! Oh my fucking God!
Wait,
I
oh
remember
no.
there was a substitute teacher in 7th grade, and okay. The frequent thing is every single substitute teacher I've ever had will say, "Oh, Jonathan," and then they'll look at me and I'll raise my hand. Everyone in the class, they got the whole squad laughing. They'll look, like everyone in the class will turn to me, stare at me, and wait for my response. Just the class will go dead silent, and then I'll have to raise my hand and say, "Yep, that's me," and then they'll be like, "Well, you got a typo in your name." They'll be like, maybe I should, should I like correct it and send it up to the office or something? I'm just like, no,
They missed the page.
name, and then the like there was this one day that everyone that I could ask, like anybody from that 7th grade class, like even the teacher at the time, because everyone would tell her what happened. They said there was an old ass nigga. He like probably was on the verge of death, and he looked at the paper and looked up and said, "Oh, Johonoton," and everyone in the class was fucking dying. Like, how the fuck do you go from Johnninan or even Jonathan to Johonoton? And then Miss Cantino, she would make fun of me all the time, and I'd make fun of her. And so for the rest of the year, she called me Johonoton. Oh my God. Why is my name meant to be this way?